Hello everyone, this is Gage from Gondorian Smith, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys another Third Age Reforged online multiplayer battle replay. Now this one is a 3 versus 3 on the Gap of Khand map, and this is actually turned into one of my more favorite pitch maps just because it can actually lead to a number of different situations. However, one of the main worries about this map is that there is actually one massive hill back here that one team or at least one player can pretty much always spawn all of his stuff up here on this massive hill. However, thankfully, Frodo is not going to be doing that, so we can go ahead and not have to worry about that right now. But anyway, we can go ahead and go into the army comps, beginning with my own, I guess. Also, I should mention that this is actually a good versus evil, so I tend to like to do those just because they seem more fun to me, I guess, really. I'm not a huge fan of seeing, like, I guess, Dale fighting against the dwarves, Veritable, and stuff like that. But anyway, without any further ado, we can go ahead and go into the army compositions, beginning with my own. So I've got one unit here of the Pinnith Galen Cavalry. These guys are AP Lancers. And also I should mention that these guys actually do have an armor upgrade unit model now. Unfortunately, I did not think to upgrade these guys with their armor, but still, it actually does look pretty nice. I believe they get some added plate armor, particularly to their like shoulders and forearm areas. And also I've got two units of the fully upgraded Gondor Cav, so with both armor upgrades as well as one attack upgrade. These guys are of course very cost effective now. They are a spear cavalry unit, so they are very, very effective at taking out enemy cavalry. However, against enemy infantry or foot soldiers in general, they will do very poorly. So you're basically only going to bring these guys if you are dealing with an enemy that has pretty good cav that you want to try to deal with quickly. On the other side, I have my second unit here of the Gondor Cav, as well as my General's Bodyguard unit of the Gandalf's Retinue Bodyguard. Of course, not a knight unit per se, but it is still a very good multiple hit point AP Lancer Cav. And because they're not knights, while their stats are of course quite a lot lower, they are quite a bit cheaper as well, which makes them a very nice pick in my opinion. For my archers, I've got two units of the Ramus Accord Garrison Archers. These guys I find are very, very cost effective because they only cost about like 475 florins, I think, for a foot archer unit, and they also have pretty decent armor as well as a nice shield value. So as Gondor, you're definitely going to be trying to outlast your enemy in a skirmish fight. You're really not going to be trying to do a lot of damage. You're just going to try to outlast them and waste their arrows. So that is why I've brought the more defensive archers. And my only other archer unit on the field is actually one unit of the standard Gondor archers. They have a little bit more attack than the Ramus Accord Garrison archers, but they do not actually have a shield, so I did give them one armor upgrade as well. For my infantry here in the center, you can see my very fearsome, always feared two units of Fountain Guard here, the AP Halberds that have really good reach. I've also got on either side one unit of the Citadel Guard, who are of course AP Spears, however they do cost very much, well like 975 florins I think. I've also got three units of the fully upgraded Gondor Infantry, so that has two armor upgrades as well as one attack upgrade. So they're going to cost me a bit more, but they should do pretty effective work for me. I've also got one unit back here of the Ramus Accord Garrison Light Infantry just to kind of pad out my lines. And in the back, I've also got two units of the Care Andros Swordmasters. And these guys are not a unit that I generally bring all that often because they are somewhat expensive, but they actually do really, really well in this battle. I was actually really surprised. I'm honestly probably going to be bringing these guys a lot more since they're buffed, because they actually inspire fear, and because of the fact that they are shock infantry. They are very, well, shock infantry that is two-handed swords. They are very, very skillful. So against a lot of AP units, they can actually do very well because a lot of AP units, well, low tier or middle to low tier AP units tend to not be super skillful. So actually, if you have really highly skilled units, they can actually tend to balance out those fights pretty evenly for themselves. But anyway, you can see my third unit of Gondor Infantry there. I'll pretty much do it for my army comp, so we can now go over here to my allies, or the first of my allies, which is going to be, oh, not there, that's Isengard. We've got Rohan, so Gondor's longtime ally. We have got Lamau playing as Rohan. He's got some Sons of Eorl for his general there, very unsurprising. You can see, I believe, Aemir as the officer, and then Theoden as the general back there. We also got one unit here of the Meduzeld Guard, very, very deadly javelins, and these guys are one of the only 3 javelin units, I believe, that can still take out Mumakil very effectively. He's also got 2 units of the Westmark Marshals on either side. These guys are very, very deadly shock infantry that is also AP. They've also got a nice shield value and pretty good armor, so they can withstand a few arrows, but still you definitely want to make sure these guys do not get shot too much. He's got, I believe, only one unit of the Eowyn's Shield Maidens. No, he's got 2 units of the Eowyn's Shield Maidens, so a lot of missiles here. And this is going to be very, very key in dealing with his enemy, who is, of course, Isengard. So nice Isengard versus Rohan battle here. But anyway, he also has got one unit of the Red Shield of Erkenbrand, which is a horse archer cav that can turn actually into melee cav once they are all out of ammo. He also has one unit of the 1st Marshal's Bodyguard, in addition to his Sons of Arrows, so some good AP Lancers there. And over here, he's got 2 units of the Arid of Aldburg. So lower tier than most of the other cavalry he has got, but still very deadly off the charge. For his front line, he actually has a very surprising front line. Instead of the usual like Rittermark Axemen, he's actually got 4 units of Rittermark Spearmen, surprisingly enough. He also has 1 unit of the standard Eastmark Spearmen and only 1 unit, I believe, of Foot Archers, which that is going to be the Rittermark Archers there. But that'll pretty much do it for his army comp, so we can now go over here and look at the final ally on the good team, which is going to be Lindon, commanded by DF Stud Balrog. He has got 1 unit of the Harlandon Guard Spear Archer hybrid, I guess you could say. He's also got 1 unit here of the Forlandon Archers. He's got 1 unit of the Mithlond Pikes, as well as 1 unit of the Forlandon Pikes, and I believe 2 or 3 units of the Harlandon Infantry backing all those pikes up to provide a little bit of shield protection from arrows. He's got 2 units of Forlandon Marines, 1 unit of the Noldoran Guard, 1 unit of the Mithlond Swordmasters, 1 unit of the Noldoran Blade Masters, 1 Chariot unit, so this is going to be cool. This Chariot actually is very, very effective in this battle, as you will see later on. But for the rest of his army, he has only got 1 unit here of the Noldoran Horse Lord's Knight unit. He's got 1 unit of the hybrid Mithlond Lancers, who are of course a Jav Lancer Cav. Over here, he also has 1 unit of the Wardens of Harlandon, who are a Horse Archer Spear Cav, so they are very effective at taking out enemy cavalry. However, all of this Lindon Cav is very expensive. Obviously, the Noldoran Horse Lords are going to be very expensive because they're a knight unit, but the other 2 each cost 1,000 florins each, So Lindon Cav is very good, but because it's hybrid, it's going to cost you a lot of money. But anyway, we can now go to the first of the evil armies, which is going to be Rune, commanded by MOB Finn, Cannibal Harbinger of Death. He's got 1 unit of Lokinas Rim on either side, being backed up by 1 unit of the Varag Mercenary Riders, which is of course going to be the Horse Archer of Rune. And he actually has a very interesting army, honestly, for Rune. I've never actually seen it before. He's got 2 units of Loknarim, 4 units of the Eastron Clansmen, which is the lowest tier infantry that Rune has to offer. Behind them, though, he's got his really heavy hitters, that being the 3 units of Lok Flagrim AP Mason Shield infantrymen with really good armor. So these guys, if positioned well, will be able to tear through my units like Gondor Infantry and even Citadel Guard, really. However, against my Fountain Guard, they probably will not do too well for themselves because they won't be able to reach them. And honestly, I really wanted to see these guys fight against my Carandra Swordmasters, just because these guys, because they're AP, they don't actually have a ton of skill. So I was wondering if the skill of the Swordmasters would be able to save them against the AP of the Lok Flagrim, but we'll have to see that later in the battle. For his general, he's got 1 unit of the Camul's Dragonites. These guys are, of course, going to cost you 1,500 florins, but are extremely, extremely deadly knights. He's got 4 units here of the Eastron Warriors, slightly better than the Eastron Clansmen, but they also actually happen to have dual-wielding weapons, so they're very cool. You can see that actually some of them are holding their weapons backwards there, so they can do like an uppercut slash, I guess. But anyway, in addition to this, you can see his other unit of Lokinas Rim, as well as Varag Mercenary Riders. That'll pretty much do it for his army, with the exception of 1 hidden unit of Balkoth Sapphire Bladesmen, so the very expensive unit of javelins that's hidden somewhere around here in a nice flanking position that I did not notice until very late in the battle, and by that time I was very unfortunate. But anyway, also I should mention that the Balkoth Sapphire Bladesmen are also one of the only 3 remaining javelin units that can still deal with Mumakil effectively. Anyway, we have now gone over here to Isengard, who's going to be commanded by Lord Frodo. He's got 2 units of the Uruk-hai Archers, only 1 in the front, but 1 also in the back. He's got 1 unit of the Dununding Clansmen. You can see he's got actually a really nice formation set up here. I kind of like it a lot. He's got 4 units of Uruk-hai Infantry, kind of just in his like semicircle formation here. Behind them, he's got 3 units of the Uruk-hai Pikes, very, very cost-effective pikes, very deadly to most units. However, of course, like all pikemen, they are going to be very susceptible to arrow fire. On either side, he also has got 1 unit rather of Uruk-hai crossbows, very, very deadly with like 14 missile damage. That is totally, totally insane. And also, in addition to that, they are of course AP because they're crossbows, and they ignore all shield values. So crossbows in general are super, super deadly, and you have to be very, very careful when dealing with them. However, like all things, they do of course have their weaknesses, these guys being range and rate of fire. Anyway, back here he also has 1 unit of the Guards of Orthanc. I believe that's where his general is. Yes, right there. These guys have a very good morale bonus to troops around them. He's also got 1 unit of the Nazgûl here, who are very, very deadly AP shock infantrymen with multiple hit points and good armor. But over here you can see the final army, and of course we can't really have a Gap of Khan battle without Khan, so we have got Engsvitz here commanding the army of Khand. He's got 2 units of Variag Bowmen here, he's got 1 unit of Nomadic Light Infantry protecting them, and on either side he's also got 1 unit of Nomadic Infantry, which despite their name Infantry, they actually are foot archers. He's got 2 units of the Nurad Halberds, who are surprisingly enough a not bad AP Halberd unit. I actually really love the look of most of Khan's infantry, honestly. I really like the purple. It's a nice contrast to most of the kind of blander colors on most of the battlefields. Behind them he also has 1 unit of the Nurad Footmen, who are also AP. These guys are, I believe, are technically Mason Shield infantry. But of course you can see he's not going to be spending too much on his infantry or footmen in general. He's got a ton of cavalry, of course, playing as Khand. He's got 1 unit of the Varag Cataphracts, who are a knight unit now, costing 1500, but of course with all of the very, very good stats that come along with being a knight unit. You can see that's actually where his general is, and the general looks very nice here. I mean, I would have to say that his armor is a little bit dusty looking right now, but he looks very, very cool, and I really like his two-handed weapon there. He also has 1 unit here of the Nurad Windblades. These are the more expensive version of the... I don't even know what they're called. They're the other fast unit, but anyway, these guys do have multiple hit points, so unlike the other unit, they will actually be able to weather arrows more effectively, but still you want to keep these guys away from arrows as long as possible. They are not... Well, despite the fact that they don't have lances, they actually have a very good charge, mainly because of how fast they are, and because of how fast they are, it is very difficult for a lot of cav to catch them. He also has got 2 units here of the Nurad Retainers, who are kind of an average tier melee cav, kind of similar to the merchants of a lot of factions. He's got 2 units here of very good horse archers, that being the Chieftain's Vanguard and the Brotherhood of the Bow. I believe the Chieftain's Vanguard actually have multiple hit points, so they're going to be very hard to skirmish down, but the Brotherhood of the Bow have a few more men in the unit. He also has 1 unit here of the Nurniag Horse Archers, and I believe that pretty much does it for his army, although it looks rather small, so he might have a couple hidden units around here, maybe the Knife Throwers. Anyway, we'll have to see that later in the battle, because without any further ado, I think we can go ahead and get this battle underway. Do not want it at 2 times speed, though. That would be really bad. It starts quickest over on my side. You can see, actually, I am kind of positioned on a hill here, but as I saw that Rune kind of had an army that I thought I could exploit, I actually will be pushing off my hill relatively quickly here. I'm going to try to skirmish down a few of his archers first, and then you'll see me move forward with most of my army here. Yes, you can see me rushing forward now. My Found Guard all breaking up in formation. I actually think I was trying to move over this way more, so I was more like directly in line with him. And then I believe I moved forward. Yeah, you can see all my men rushing forward into the fight here. Actually, I'll be back in just 1 second, I think. It might not be recording the game audio for some reason. Okay, so I guess it wasn't actually recording the game audio, but luckily that was just for the army comps, but now that we're actually in the battle, the audio is definitely going to be important to the overall video, but I'm glad I caught that before the actual battling did begin. But anyway, yeah, you can see that I've just kind of reset my lines here. Generally, Gondor is not going to be a good pick against Rune, just because of how much AP Rune actually has, and because they actually have really good cavalry as well. And generally against Rune, it seems like armies with good archers and a lot of high skill units tend to do well, so generally elves do particularly well against Rune. But Gondor does not really have very damaging archers, and you'd think I'd bring more Axemen of Lossarnoch actually when facing off against Rune, but just some of the things that he was saying in the actual pre-game chat led me to believe that he was going for a way more quantity army rather than quality. And as most of the runic AP forces are rather expensive, I knew he wasn't going to be able to bring a ton of them, which is true. I mean, you can see he only brought actually 3 units of AP, which against Gondor might prove to be his downfall here. But his Loknarim are in range of my Ramesek Garrison archers and vice versa, so we will be opening fire upon each other. Here in my center, though, my lines are going to hold for a very long time. You see I've got Citadel Guard and Found Guard here, so in the center, I do not think anything's going to be breaking through anytime soon. My Gondor archers are actually in range as well. And I'm going to try to keep most of my archers in as thin a formation as possible, because that leads them to take fewer casualties. You can see my Pinnith Galen cavalry, and I believe my bodyguard, yeah, rushing forward here because I want to try to get a charge off into those archers, because his cavalry actually retreated kind of far back, so I was going to try to get a nice charge off into his archers here. And also I'm going to be rushing forward with my infantry now, because as you can see, his cavalry is kind of far away for the most part. You can see he's trying to bring down some Loch Inasrim to stop my Pinnith Galen cavalry, but unfortunately it's not going to be quick enough. So the AP of my Lancer is going to go straight into those Loch Narim there. But I am going to have to try to pull them out quickly because I did not want them to get attacked by these Loch Inasrim, who will be able to beat my Pinnith Galen cavalry relatively easily. But I actually decided to change my tactic halfway through here, because I'm going to bring my Gondor cavalry and my Pinnith Galen cavalry in here to try to just take out these Loch Inasrim right away. Yeah, anyway, like I was saying, I'm going to be rushing forward here with my infantry because in terms of his runic infantry, I didn't think he was really that good. My Gandalf's retinue bodyguard going deep into those Eastern clansmen. But anyway, yeah, I didn't think his infantry was going to really be able to deal with mine that effectively, so I was going to just try to attack him pretty much instantaneously. Over here, though, you can see my Pinnith Galen cavalry taking a number of losses, but with the Gondor cav here and my Citadel Guard here, this is going to be a very bad situation for the Loch Inasrim here, so he's going to be trying to push forward with some Eastron clansmen. I've got my own infantry here, though, my Cairn Swordmasters, my Citadel Guard. My Found Guard are kind of far behind, but they will get here shortly. Over here, my Gondor infantry going to charge into some Eastron clansmen and some Loch Flagrim. The Loch Flagrim will be able to win that fight, but luckily I do have some reserves coming up to help out my Gondor infantry here. Citadel Guard against Loch Flagrim is going to be an interesting fight. Honestly, I'm not sure who would win that, but as I've got some Found Guard moving in, I think my forces will be able to win that fight. Also, I have pulled my cavalry out here, but you can see some champions of the White Hand from Frodo coming in to help out. Gondor Cav against Eastern Clansmen, that's an easy win for my Gondor infantry, but if I'm not careful, I will lose my Gondor infantry to these champions, which is why I'm going to charge my Pinnith Galen Cav and my Spear Cav into these champions of the White Hand here, and will be able to actually deal a huge amount of damage to that very important knight unit. Here in the center, you can see I've got Cairn Swordmasters, Citadel Guard, and Ramus Ecor Garrison in there. Here in the center, Cairn Swordmasters against the Eastern Clansmen, that's really not even much of a fight. I've also got Cairn Swordmasters here, though, against Loch Flagrim, but I've got a pretty nice comp here. I've got high skill units in the Cairn Swordmasters, I've got AP in the Found Guard, and in the Citadel Guard here, so these two units of Loch Flagrim are going to take a lot of losses. Over here, I've got 2 units, I believe, of Gondor infantry fighting against the Loch Flagrim, and now against some Eastron warriors. I've got my cavalry constantly charging in the background there. You can see the Balcott Sapphire Bladesmen just unfortunately kind of sitting there. My archers are also constantly firing this whole time. Unfortunately, though, for Finn, Cannibal Harbinger of Death, he's really not being that aggressive with his knight unit, which is very unfortunate because a lot of my cav has taken losses now. Champions of White Hand, though, have taken 10 losses. However, my Gondor Cav and Pinnith Galen Cavalry have in turn taken a ton of losses as well. Here, my Gondor Infantry going to be able to hold for a really long time here against the Eastron Warriors. And so far, things are looking really good for me, honestly. And elsewhere, the battle has really not even started at all. It's kind of just me fighting against Rune at the moment. But yeah, here in the center, you can see the Loch Flagrim, despite fighting against so many AP units, are still holding on relatively strongly. Just showing that the AP is always going to be very effective against Gondor. Okay, unfortunately I have archers in the fight here. I guess that was a micro mistake. Yeah, 2 units of Gondor infantry really struggling here against the Loch Flagrim, so I'm going to try to just bull my way through these Loch Narim, and then I was going to try to rear charge these Loch Flagrim and stop them from butchering my poor infantry. But you can see Finn, Cannibal Harbinger of Death, has actually brought his second unit of Loch Inasrim over here now, so I need to be careful. I'm going to be trying to come over here with my Gondor Cav, but I actually did see those Balcott Sapphire Bladesmen and was going to try to charge them. But again, being Spear Cav, they're not going to do a huge amount of damage, so I'm just going to try to get one charge off pretty much, and then run away, and then try to take out these Loch Inasrim over here, with some help from my Gandalf's Retinue Bodyguard, who are still relatively healthy. Oh, if I can get over here. Okay, I'm going to slow down just a little bit more, because you can actually see that, Rohan and Lindon have both been helping me out here. You can see the Mithlond Noble Chariots going after the Camille's Dragon Knights, also the First Marshal's Bodyguard rear charging most of the runic line and going to break actually a lot of it there. Unfortunately, he did not bring any Gamp Rim, and I think that was a major mistake, because with the only exception of my Fountain Guard, I would not have been able to touch those Gamp Rim, because I didn't even bring any Javelins. Gondor Cav and Gondor Cavalry, yeah, gonna try to rear charge these Loch Inasrim. Ooh, yeah, nice pincer move right here into these Loch Inasrim that had charged my line there. But anyway, now something interesting is going on. Now that most of Rune actually has been defeated, you can see that a lot of some interesting tactics are going to be going on here. Anyway, I can see a lot of Rohan Cav over here, but also the varying mercenary riders are there as well. But also, I should mention that unfortunately for Frodo, he was actually accidentally staked most of his Warg Riders right here, which is very unfortunate because he did not have a lot of cavalry to begin with. But you can see Engsfitz coming over here with some Nurad Windblades and some Nurad Retainers, and he's going to go straight over to this fight over here where we don't have too much cavalry left over. But as you can see, now that most of Rune has been pretty much completely dealt with, and I still have a very large portion of my army left over. Oh, be careful, is he going to stake some forces? Ooh, that was close. Anyway, now that most of Rune has been taken over, or taken out, and I still have a very nice portion of my forces left over, you can see that Engsfitz and Frodo are actually going to position themselves up on this hill here, and honestly I don't blame themselves for that, or I don't blame them for that, because of the fact that how quickly I was actually able to deal with Rune is going to pretty much lead them to be in a 2v3. And it's actually really interesting because it actually kind of turned into a pitch siege, honestly. So I actually really liked this. It was actually really fun. But anyway, over here we can see that the chariots and the Camul's Dragonites are charging in here. And unfortunately for me, I've only got Gondor infantry here and a few Citadel Guard. So that was a really nice target right there for Finn Cannibal to charge into this blob of forces here where I don't have too many anti-cav units. But you can see there's Warg Riders down here trying to harass where they can, but for the most part Rune has been completely defeated. They've got a few units that ran away up there. And yes, here come the Nurad Retainers. So we've got some cavalry of Khand coming anyway, but you can see that this was actually a pretty good line battle, honestly. I mean, at least there was a line. You can see it just goes all the way around here. I love it when there's just a huge old line in the battles. I just absolutely adore that. But anyway, you can see right there the Flagrim really did struggle against my Fountain Guard and Swordmasters. I can't even see. The Clansmen are actually kind of hard to see because of their coloring. But anyway, here we have Engsfitz's cavalry coming into play, and as most of my Spear Cav has been taken out, the Nerd Retainers will do relatively well against my Gondor Cav because of how much of it has been taken out. You can see I'm trying to reform my lines quickly here. I want to get my spears in the front and try to ward off any of the enemy cavalry. At the same time, I'm going to be coming over with my Gandalf's Retinue Bodyguard and what's left of my Gondor Cav. Right here, ooh, Red Shield of Erkenbrand fighting against the Nerd Retainers. It'll be a pretty close fight, but honestly, I think the Red Shield will win. However, they're about to get rear charged now by some Nerd Retainers, but no, the Nerd Retainers are going to change their direction, or instead going to be going after my cavalry. So that actually is totally fine with me because I am confident that my Spear Cav with my Gandalf's Retinue Bodyguard will be able to beat those Nerd Retainers. You can see the Nerd Retainers. We're actually thinking about routing there for just a second. But there is some Runic Cavalry right here. The Varag Mercenary Riders and the Eastron Warriors. Yeah, Nerd Retainer's not liking that fight against my Spearmen and Bodyguard. So he's going to try to pull them out there before taking too many losses. Yeah, the Spear Cav. When the Gondor Cavalry is fully upgraded, they're going to cost you like 750 florins, but honestly, in my mind, it is completely worth it. Honestly, I think it really made Gondor actually a viable option in pitch battles now, because they're not going to get completely run over by factions that have good cavalry, or even wargs, because wargs in general can tend to really turn a battle, mainly because of how effective they are against other cavalry. I'm going to try to charge some of these Varag Mercenary Riders, but they're just so quick that I'm not going to be able to catch too many of them before taking a lot of losses, so I will pull my cavalry out of that fight pretty shortly here. But over here we've got the Rohirrim just running around here, and what's left of poor Rune's forces. Nerd Windblade's going to retreat, as well as most of the Retainers, it looks like. However, looks like a few of the Retainers did definitely lose their lives. Ooh, that looks kind of nice to me. Honestly, I like that. But anyway, yeah. So far, it's been a really interesting battle because I was able to take out Rune. I was trying to be aggressive there. But for the most part, Rohan and Lindon weren't too aggressive, and honestly that might have led to them actually being able to run up on this hill here. But honestly, again, I'm fine with that because it made it be a much closer fight. Anyway, of course, I'm not going to say who wins, but also you can see Lindon marching over here now to the Rohirrim's side. They're going to get a little bit closer to their ally, seeing as Khand and Isengard are pretty much right next to each other. But again, this is going to be very difficult here because these Rohan spears won't be able to deal with these Uruk-hai pikes, and there are only 2 units of Lindon pikes in general, and they're going to have to be used against the halberds and cavalry of Khand. So these pikes are going to be very, very problematic here. And even my Fountain Guard that are still very healthy will have a difficult time dealing with them just because of the range of the pikes. Yeah, Warg Riders unfortunately took a ton of losses because of their own stakes. There is actually still a surprising amount of Lok in Osrim left over. There's 21 in that unit and 15 in that. The Uruk-hai archers are firing at something. Oh, here comes the 10 Camul's Dragon Knights. So the general's still alive. The Red Retainer stuff there. Yeah, so one complete unit of Nard Retainers was actually taken out. There's the second unit there. And you can see I'm just going to be trying to reform my lines here. But you can see I did take a lot of losses. Like you can see my Citadel Guard down to 58 and 76. My Swordmasters, ooh, they took a lot of losses actually. 58 and 50. However, my Fountain Guard, very healthy. It looks like both my Fountain Guard are at 99, so they each only took 4 casualties fighting against all those flagmen, just proving how strong they are. My Gondor Infantry, 86, 54, and then 128, so not super healthy. But my archers are actually still very healthy. I've got 2 units of Ramscourt Garrison archers as well as my Gondor archers still very healthy. But my cavalry, it looks like, is where I took the most losses. You can see there's only 15 there, 16, and then 29. So that will be very unfortunate because Rune still, or Khand still has a lot of cavalry, and there are still those champions of the White Hand. And actually Rune, yeah, Rune still has a okay amount of cav. They've still got their horse archers, they've still got their 10 Dragon Knights, as well as their like 30 or so Lok in Osrim in total. Take a look around actually and see what Khand has left, or if anything has really happened between Khand and Lindon. Oh yes, it looks like the horse archers of Engsfits have pushed forward here, and they're going to try to skirmish down Lindon. That's a very good call because Lindon has pretty light armor. And you can see, unfortunately, the Wardens of Harlandon, just being outnumbered 3-1 here, are just taking horrendous losses so far, and that's very unfortunate, really, because they are a really key unit in most of the Lindon forces. However, the foot archers, it looks like, of Stig Balrog are in range. However, they're kind of mixed up here with their javelins, so not really a great position here because he's taken a lot more losses than maybe he would have otherwise. But again, in the case of a battle, mistakes are always going to be made, like over there when I totally messed up with my archers just running straight into that fight. I didn't even realize I did that until I watched this replay, or until I saw that right now pretty much. Red Shield of Birkenbrand took a lot of losses there, but still they're doing okay, it looks like. And I believe they're a sword melee cav, yeah, so they're not going to be AP. Oh, here's the Balkoth Sapphire Bladesmen just running around the back lines again. I did not even notice that they were there, which is obviously kind of dumb of me because I charged them with my cavalry early on, but it looks like they have skirmish mode on, so they're just running back and forth. But I did finally notice them, so I'm going to be trying to shoot them down with my archers, and then also chase them down with my Gondor infantry, and looks like the Rohan cav is coming here as well. Yeah, the Balkoth Sapphire Bladesmen are going to take a lot of losses to archers. They do have hit points, but after taking that charge, they might take a lot of losses to those arrows. Ooh, yeah. And my Gondor cav, but again, being spear cav, it's not going to be very effective against infantry. And honestly, for a unit that costs 750 florins, if you see it have like only like 30 kills or whatever, you would think, oh, that was a horrible choice. Why'd I even bring them? But actually, when you think about it, like objectively, like on what those 30 guys that they actually did kill were, it actually becomes a lot. It actually makes a lot more sense. They do become more cost effective because killing 30 cavalrymen is a lot better. Well, killing 30 cav for a spear cav unit is actually a really good trade, honestly, in my opinion. Mainly because of the obvious fact that there is not going to be as many men in the unit, in a cavalry unit, than there would be in a foot infantry unit. That was confusing, but I hope it made a little sense, I guess. I'm going to try to get my AP Lancers in here as well, just to try to charge them down quickly. Unfortunately for these Balkoth Sapphire Bladesmen, they're not going to be able to get their javelins off, which is very unfortunate because they're very deadly. And they'd be able to just absolutely flatten a unit like these Gondor infantry here in just pretty much 1 or 2 volleys. And see, they actually pull out some pretty nice weapons in melee as well. You can see the two blues here, the two blue wizards, as the officers. Thought that was a nice touch as well. That's actually been in the game for quite some time though. So that will pretty much be the end of that unit. You can see I've set up my forces here on the side of the hill here, because I kind of wanted to almost surround it. I mean, of course, we didn't have enough troops to completely surround it, but I mean, look how healthy Isengard is. Isengard has not fought at all, but then again, with the exception of the cavalry of Rohan, Rohan has not fought either, but for the most part, a lot of Rohan's cav is just spears. Well, no, they've got a couple units of Western Orc Marshals and the Javelin, so I don't know. It's going to be very interesting, mainly because of the fact that they are on this hill, so it has pretty much turned into a siege, honestly. Which I thought that was actually very interesting. I actually really liked that. Wardens of Harlondon down to 19. Let's see what the casualties for Khand have been. Ooh, Nerniag Horse Archers down to only 20 left. Chieftain's Vanguard at 28. Mercy Brotherhood about 45. So it looks like just not a ton of losses with the exception of the Nerniag Horse Archers. And here we've also got some nomadic infantry here who for Khand are actually a pretty good archer unit, honestly, mainly because of the fact that they do have okay-ish armor as well as a nice shield value. So they're actually not bad. Over here, though, ooh, looks like Stud Balrog has taken quite a number of losses among his foot soldiers. His Forlindon archers down to 44. Harlondon Guard at 61. They having shields are going to do slightly better, but still not great because of their low armor, or light armor rather. Riddermark Spears all in loose formation, not wanting to take unnecessary casualties. Riddermark Archers are there as well. Take a look at Isengard, see what's going on with them. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I guess some Nerd Retainers stake themselves on that, too. Stakes, why? You're killing your own men. Anyway, Dunlington Clansmen here are going to set up the first line, and honestly, on this hill, even the Uruk Archers will do extremely well, but the crossbows are absolutely terrifying on this hill. I can put it up to 1x speed now because this is kind of where it gets slow. Because honestly, we were very confused on what to do because we don't have archers, honestly. Like, Stud Balrog only has 2 units of foot archers, and they're both very weak. Rohan only has 1 unit of Riddermark archers, and I have 3 units of pretty healthy archers. But because I was firing at Rune for so long, they're nearing out of ammo, and because they're Gondor archers, they're not going to be able to do very much damage. So that put us in a very, very interesting predicament, honestly. And considering how much infantry Isengard has left over, things could turn. Oh, jeez. Things could turn. Oh my gosh, can I speak English? No, sorry. Anyway, things could turn very badly for us very quickly if we decided to just full-on rush, especially considering the fact that there actually is still a lot of cavalry remaining to the evil forces. Harlondon Guard there. Yeah. So pretty much this is going to be the slow part. You can see after Rune was taken out, we just kind of set up our respective positions, and we are now going to begin to starve out the defenders. No, I'm kidding. But we were kind of just kind of sitting here waiting, just kind of debating on what the hell we should even attempt to do. Because you can see they've still got a lot of good cavalry here. I mean, like, the wargs are super great anti-cav. They've got still AP lancers. They've got horse archers. They've got all kinds of stuff. And up here on this hill, the crossbows, they would be absolutely terrifying. So we're just honestly just trying to figure out what the heck we want to do. So I may sit here just for a little bit, but I think I'll put up to 2x for now here, just as things really slow down. I might actually go ahead and make a cut here. Yeah, I think I will make a cut here because pretty much the only thing that's going to go on is a little bit of skirmishing and maybe a tiny bit of cav fighting. But for the most part, nothing much is going to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and make a cut here until the next fight does begin. So I'll see you guys in just a bit. Alright, so I am back just for a second because there actually is beginning to form a pretty large cavalry engagement. Most of the Lok Anasrum of Rune actually pushed out a little bit too far for the liking of myself and the Rohirrim, so we decided to push our remaining cavalry in here, and unfortunately I did lose one of my few remaining units of Gondor Cav, or my 2 remaining units of Gondor Cav rather, over there fighting against some wargs, So I only have one unit to contribute over here, and not a very healthy unit either, but one unit of the fully healthy Ered of Aldberg was over here. But you can see they're kind of getting wrapped around now by the Fuhrman Lok Innisrim, and now by 2 units of Nerad Windblades. So we can go ahead and put it back to regular speed and see how this fight ensues. I think it'll turn out very unfortunate, honestly, for... Oh, yeah, not good for Rohan and myself, because Brotherhood of the Bow is here now. Ered of Aldberg is thinking about routing, and I think my Gondor Cav just routed, yes, so I think my only cavalrymen on the field now is my 1 unit of... Yeah, again, I'll start new bodyguard down to 13 now. However, you can see that Rohan is supporting me with his own cavalry, that being some Ered of Aldberg and some of the Sons of Eorl. Also, the only other thing that happened besides that was a little bit of skirmishing between myself and Isengard, and then the 3 remaining, what is it called, First Marshal's bodyguard unit, kind of went on a suicide mission here and charged headlong into these Eastron warriors, and you can see it took out a lot of them, but then I believe they were taken out by some of the wargs and champions and such. But still, it was pretty glorious nonetheless. Over here, unfortunately, a crushing defeat for the cavalry of the good team. However, there are the chariots in here. The chariots, man, they've been doing work this whole time. And against Cav, looks like they're actually not doing too bad as long as they keep moving anyway. Oh, there goes one of the chariots. But again, they also will constantly be throwing their javelins, so they can do a pretty good amount of damage to heavily armored targets as well. But again, the siege continues. Unfortunately, the enemies have not starved quite yet. But yeah, up on this hill, those Uruk archers just have the absolute way advantage over my poor militia tier archers. We're gonna have to be trying to fire uphill, so it's not going to be very good for them because they're going to have to get, or they're gonna have to get very close to those Uruk archers to even do anything. Anyway, things just kind of continue, I guess. So I will make another cut here. And I will hopefully be back when the main fight actually begins. I was hoping that that cavalry engagement would kind of start something, but unfortunately it did not. So I'll see you guys in just. Okay, I am back. I don't know if the fight is about to begin quite yet. I don't actually remember. But as you can see, there's a lot of movement going on. Khand is kind of making his way across here, across the hill. And as soon as I saw this, especially because Isengard was also making its way towards me, I was like, oh no, are they gonna try to come and double team me? So I can't attack them from the back, and so I won't even be able to get saved by my allies. So I was very worried here. So I was just trying to set up as defensive of a position as I was actually able to do. So you can see Isengard is kind of still here. He's trying to move around with a few of his stuff, but mainly it's Khand doing most of the moving around. But also, as you can see, my allies, of course, also noticed this and are going to be moving forward as well. They're going to try to be staying close with each other here, but unfortunately, with a little bit of pathfinding issues, looks like Stud Balrog is slightly behind, but again, that's no big deal for the most part. Yeah, you can see that hill just crawling like there's a bunch of ants all over it. Nerad Footmen moving around. Nerad Footmen, unfortunately, not going to do super great against elves because the elves don't have great armor. The halberds should be able to hold for a while, fortunately. Oh, he has 3 units of halberds. I thought he only had 2. Alright, he has 3. I think they cap out at 3 or 4, so that makes sense, I guess. And here we have got Rune doing his glorious last charge. He's only got some clansmen and a little bit of cavalry left, but he will charge me nevertheless with all he has got. The men of Rune are no cowards indeed. Even their militia tier men. Oh boy. And here comes Camille's Dragonites. Honestly, the Camille's Dragonites and then these 2 Lancers are the only things I'm really scared of, but you can see the Lancers took a ton of losses in that Cav fight. And you've actually got the Rohan Cav going to go meet them in the field. But yeah, as for my position, it's basically the same formation as I had back up there when I first deployed. However, because I've taken a lot of losses, it is pretty much just shrunk. So now it's just a really small one. Oh, yeah, there go the Ered of Aldberg charging into those Lok Innisrim. Or no, very mercenary riders, who looked like they were going to try to charge my Citadel Guard, honestly, which would not have been a good idea. Being elite spears that are AP, they would have absolutely wrecked them. Looks like the Innisrim are going to try to do that anyway, though. And they're going to instantaneously die. Don't charge spears, kids. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, Camille's Dragonite's going to come in here now as well. They're going to get caught out by some Sons of Eorl, as well as maybe the Ered of Aldberg. But yes, now this is where things get serious. Because you can see Isengard moving forward with some archers here that are going to actually be pushing off of their hilled position. You can see Isengard pushing forward with a lot of his forces here. Actually, might have split his forces directly in half. Half of it going towards me, and half going towards the other fight that's going on. Because you guys, you can see they actually have pulled off of their hill now. So this is where things are going to get serious. Yeah, so he looks like he's going to be trying to split his forces and go after me, with the support of some of Engsfitz's cav, as well as his own champions and stuff. So gonna be a difficult fight now, I think, because of all the cavalry here. Fortunately, I do have the support of Rohan's leftover cav, which is very good. Also, my Found Guard taking some arrow fire now, so I'm going to try to rush forward with some Gondor infantry to provide a little bit of shield support there. Just don't take a ton of losses before the fight actually does begin. Oh, here's some Nerd Retainers, unfortunately, going to charge straight into my Ramscorp garrison. Unfortunately, I was not able to pull them out in time, so they will take losses. And that's not going to be good. Oh, Ramscorp garrison archer is going to get charged by a Brotherhood of the Bow, maybe? Yep. Oh, not good. Not good at all. They're actually wavering here, so it looks like maybe the Brotherhood can inspire fear. And it looks like Rune has pretty much been dealt with by now. Yeah, look at that. The Ramscorp garrison actually on a rout, surprisingly enough. Yeah, Isengard just trying to set up shop, it looks like. Looks like Finn Cannibal has been completely defeated. Isengard just trying to move around into a good position to attack me. And over here, we have got Rohan and Lindon rushing into the fight. Now they have had enough sitting around and are going to run into the fray. Here you can see the spearmen of Rohan ready to engage in the melee alongside their elven brethren. Or allies, not brethren. Nomadic infantry going to try to fire what arrows they can, but unfortunately not going to be able to do enough damage to Lamau's forces in time. You got the Riddermark archers back here. All the javelins of Lamau are also over here. But here comes Engsfitz's cav ready to crush into the side here, so it's not going to be too great. The halberds actually should probably do better against Rohan, honestly, than they would against the elves, because Rohan at least does have a slightly better armor. Over here, I was very sad. I was kind of sad here. I was worried a little bit because I saw the 3 units of Uruk-hai pikemen rushing forward here, as well as a number of the Uruk-hai infantry and crossbows. So I was like, oh no, I don't know if my 2 units of Fountain Guard will be able to deal with 3 units of Uruk-hai pikes. And as I don't have javelins here, things are not looking too good for me, honestly. Luckily, though, I'm not going to be getting recharged by cav quite yet. Also, I was going to absolutely target the hell out of these crossbows with my own archers and with my, like, 13 remaining bodyguard that I've got somewhere around here. I don't know where. Yeah, the Arid of Aldberg and the Sons of Eorl are still around here to help me out, which is definitely good. Unfortunately, they won't be able to do a ton of help against the Uruk-hai infantry. Or, I mean, Uruk-hai pikemen. But they should help against the Uruk-hai infantry and maybe the crossbows and archers as well. Ooh. Crossbows reloading, going to try to fire at my Citadel Guard, I believe, right into their flank. Oh, that's very bad. And here in the center, these poor clans, I'm just going to get absolutely butchered by the combined forces of my Fountain Guard and Gondor infantry. Oof, yeah, my Citadel Guard getting shot straight in the side there by those crossbows. But anyway, we need to go back over here to this other fight. As you can see, Lindon charged his cav over here into some halberds, unfortunately, as well as the Kondish cav. But over here in the center, it looks like, honestly, the Eastmark and Riddermark Spearmen doing much better than I thought they would against the halberds. Maybe they are doing the standard, like, shield wall push. I didn't know that Eastmark Spearmen could actually, or Riddermark Spears could actually do that, but it looks like they are doing so. Awen's Shield Maidens unfortunately getting targeted by some cav, but the Meduseld Guard are going to also target wherever they can. Nereid Footmen, Nomadic Infantry, also some archers all over here. Yeah, look at that. 1 unit of halberds already completely routed off the field. We can go over here again and see what's going on. Yeah, so see, you can see I've got my 11 now, Gandalf's new bodyguard, just trying to silence these crossbows, now down to 94. But thankfully, now that most of the Uruk-hai have actually engaged my front force here, he's not going to be able to target my infantry with his crossbows. And there goes the Kondish General, and that's very bad because Kond has very low morale. But yeah, here in the center, this is going to be a very close fight, I think, because the Fountain Guard and the infantry and the Swordmasters are a very, very, very good combination. So against the Uruk-hai infantry, they'll probably win. But against the pikes, it's going to be a much more difficult fight because I'm going to pretty much be only relying on my Fountain Guard to deal with them. But again, I've got a lot of AP in there, I've got some good skill in there, so things are looking not too horrible for me, honestly. Yeah, over here. Ooh. Things not looking too great for Kond right now. You can see the Blade Masters rushing in here against the Archers. That actually might cause a huge rout, honestly. However, the Cataphracts... Oh, that's so unfortunate. He had 20 He had like probably like most of the units still alive when his general died. That is very unfortunate. Okay, he's gonna try to get a nice downhill charge here into the Riddermark Spears. Actually gonna rout them. Noldoran Blade Masters are here though as well, so he needs to be careful of them. Uruk-hai infantry fighting on this side, along with some Nurad halberds. Yeah, you can see now that the formations have kind of been set up, these spears are doing a lot worse. So things getting a little bit closer over there. Over here with the second engagement. This is going to be pretty much just a long fight, mainly because of how many pikes Isengard has over here. He's got all 3 units of pikes. Oof, yeah, this is going to be a very deadly fight, honestly. Ooh, yeah, you can see the Uruk-hai fighting hard against the brave Men of Gondor. That's going to be a very strange thing for the Men of Gondor, honestly, seeing as they've probably never even seen an Uruk-hai before. They've been fighting their whole lives against Mordor and the orcs, and Uruks, not the Uruk-hai. So they're probably very confused. They're like, why the hell are these guys so strong? Rowan's just like, yeah, feel my pain. Anyway, over here you can see the Noldoran Horse Swords actually look like they're dual wielding now. Whoa, that's actually kind of sick. Are they dual wielding? No, maybe? No, okay, that was okay. I was very confused there. It looked like they were dual wielding great swords, but no, they're not. That'd have been epic though. But anyway, yeah. Nurad halberds not doing too terribly against the pikes, honestly, surprisingly enough. Uruk-hai archers trying to do their bit in the infantry fight as well. Yeah, spears really struggling though against the Uruk-hai infantry and halberds where they can actually set up. But unfortunately for them, the javelins are now in their back lines as well as some more spears. Where are the Nazgûl though? They should be around here somewhere, right? The Nazgûl and the Guards of Orthanc? I don't even see them. Okay, there's the Guards of Orthanc, so that means the Nazgûl must be in here somewhere. Unfortunately, it looks like the crossbows were not able to fire for long enough to cause any real effect. Yeah, here in the center, my combined forces are definitely, I would say, winning, I guess. Most of the infantry has been taken out. There's mainly just pikes to deal with now. So yeah, it's my Found Guard doing better than my infantry and such, but not great still. My archers and my Ramscorp garrison are all in there as well. The Arid of Aldburg helping me out. I was able to take out pretty much all the crossbows with my 11 Gandalf's Retinue bodyguard. You can see they're taking out the last of these Uruk-hai infantry now as well. But yeah, it looks like things are about to wrap up, honestly. You can see my Ramscorp garrison archers firing into the flanks of the pikes now. Gonna try to help out wherever they can. My Citadel Guard still doing okay, it looks like. Yeah, it looks like things are actually looking pretty good, honestly. And even if I won't be able to win there, I will be able to at least hold. Ooh, but here comes some Variag Cataphracts and some Nerd Windblades. So if they rear charge my lines, that's going to be very, very bad and could turn things against me very quickly. Over here, though, it looks like, yeah, it looks like Khand and Isengard are really struggling now. Rohan and Lindon seem to be victorious now. There's just a few units to deal with. Over here looks like some Guards of Orthanc, maybe the Nazgûl, although they might have been taken out, honestly. No, Nazgûl right here, 34 of them left. Definitely, it's not a great idea to charge into Nazgûl, especially when the Nazgûl countercharge. And by charge, I mean with cavalry, because surprisingly enough, Berserkers and Nazgûl can actually countercharge cavalry very effectively, honestly. Thought that was kind of interesting, but also a very cool touch. Ramscorp garrison actually routing there after taking some rear charges. And surprisingly enough, we've got my... Oh no, sorry, not surprisingly enough. My Gandalf's Retinue bodyguard going to try to charge into these Uruk-hai archers, but I want to pull them out before the pikes turn around. You can see a few of them are turning around, so I need to get them out of there quickly. Because if you did not notice, my army does not have any inspiring units at all. So I'm basically relying on the fact that I'm going to try to keep my general alive the whole game. Because if I do not keep my general alive, then I could even see units like my Citadel Guard and Fountain Guard routing, because I do not have any inspiring units like the, what are they called? Nimlothian Honor Guard or Wardens of the White Tower or anything like that to inspire my inspire courage into my friendly forces. Gandalf's Retinue I decided to just go ahead and risk charging into these pikes just because they were thinking about routing, but unfortunately they are not going to route, so I'm going to try to pull them out of there before I lose too many more bodyguard. And here, surprisingly enough, we've got Angsvits charging into the front line here. Not going to be great for their health because I've got still a pretty good amount of Fountain Guard, although they have definitely taken losses. You can see this one down to 66, and the other one down to maybe like 40 something. 77, no, never mind, okay. Never mind. Still got my Karen to Swordmasters fighting strong. Very Cataphract. So you got the Sons of Aorol back there. Gonna try to charge wherever they can. And unfortunately, there go my Rammus Corps Garrison Light Infantry. However, I think that was because of these Neurad Windblades were charged in. But I think they'll be okay. I think they'll come back. Well, they're not going to be okay right now, but I believe they do come back. But yeah, you can see a lot of my lower tier stuff. I'm actually kind of thinking about routing maybe because of these rear charges in the Neurad Windblades. But yeah, unfortunately, it's just going to be too little too late now because most of the Uruk-hai have been taken out with the exception of one unit of pikes, it looks like, and some archers, but that'll pretty much be it looks like, for this battle, because over here everything has pretty much been defeated by my allies. Unfortunately, it looks like Isengard splitting off most of his, or a lot of his forces to try to deal with me was not effective, just because I had enough to actually be able to hold and beat it back for the time being. So he wasn't actually able to use those forces where they could have been better used, especially the pikes. Honestly, I think the pikes on that end over there would have been really, really helpful, especially against the Elven pikes. Yeah, my Rammus Corps Garrison has returned to the fight. Sons of Aorol down to 19 because they're unfortunately running into some pikes here. Oof. They're definitely elite though, but there goes Aemir, it looked like. Aw, poor Aemir. That's why you don't run into pikes. But yeah, anyway, Isengard's going to go ahead and admit defeat, and I think that Ingsmith will admit defeat shortly here as well. And that'll pretty much be the end of this battle. But still, I thought it was a very fun one. I actually really liked how they went up on the hill because it almost turned into like a type of siege, honestly. And it probably would have gone on for a little bit longer, honestly, if they had maybe a little bit more patience. But they decided they wanted to try to split off a portion of their force and go after me, and I think that was kind of their mistake there. But anyway, we've got myself getting 2,300 kills, Aelamau getting 1,300, and Sud Balor getting 866. The most kills for the other team definitely went to Engsfitz with 1,600, while his allies only got about half of that. Anyway, for my casualties inflicted, I've got 395 for my Gandalf's Retinue Bodyguard. Pinniscale Cavalry not doing too hot, but still doing, I mean, okay, I guess. But my Gondor Cav doing very well for the fact that most of these kills are all on enemy cavalry. My Gondor Archers and Rammus Corps Garrison doing okay. My Gondor Infantry doing very well for themselves. Actually, one of the units got more kills than my Fountain Guard, surprisingly enough, who also did extremely well. Citadel Guard getting 133 and 144. Rammus Corps Garrison getting 47. Carrier Swordmasters, though, they just butchered their way through those poor low-tier runic infantrymen. But anyway, that'll pretty much be the end of this video. I'm sorry that it wasn't super close, but that's mainly just due to the fact that I don't have a huge amount of time to really just grind out Reforged, mainly because of how long the battles take, so I kind of just have to do whatever ones are like somewhat close, I guess. But I do have a 3v5 that is actually super close that I've been trying forever to try to record and upload, but so I will try to get that one out as soon as possible. But anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, just please comment, like, and subscribe. If you did not, just tell me what I did wrong, and I'll be sure to fix it for the next video. So farewell wherever you fare, till your eyes receive you at your journey's end.